Good morning, Ben. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Friday morning builder call, and this is May 3rd, 2019, and exciting day that it is. Welcome, Elena. Exciting day that we are already in the May. I'll tell you, I can't even believe how quickly the time is going. Welcome, Jen. Good to have you too. So we're going to start this morning with some wins. In fact, Jen, I was just thinking about you, thinking, how has Jen's week been? And so let's start this morning with some wins and what's going well and what needs to be going better, and talk about it for a little bit, and then go back to our guides and talk about mindset and skill sets. So unmute yourself and go ahead and share with us what's your wins this week, what's been going really well, and what you want to share with us, and what's been delightful. Maybe I'll start for just a minute. I have been meeting. I had I think I might have shared this. If I did, stop me. But I am looking for my water jug. I think it's in the bathroom. I'm going to need it. Somebody else start, okay? Unmute yourself and go ahead and start.
I'll go. Debbie's already heard this. Well, we went to Greeley last weekend for our daughter's Jazz Fest at the University of Northern Colorado, and we went shopping afterwards, and we found this little clothing boutique. And so we went in, and I was kind of shopping for a little dress, and we just watched her interact with all the customers, and each customer she came up to and asked them what they were looking for, what they'd already found, what color they wanted, what style, like really customize what I might like. And then, because I'd kind of given up, I just kind of took a quick glance through and hadn't found anything. Well, after she took some time with me, I actually found a dress there and bought a couple of sets of leggings for my daughters. So we were finishing up, and Greg and I just started talking to her and asking her questions. Hey, do you own this? And she's, yeah, I own it. And my daughter helps me here. And we kind of got to know her, and I was able to leave her samples, and we very boldly asked her if she would be interested in maybe being our business partner. And she was really flattered and didn't know what to say. And I said, well, you don't have to make any decisions, but this is something you could do alongside your boutique with the residual income later if you want to sell your boutique. And so I did get to text her a picture of myself in the dress after I got home. So I'm going to follow up with her next week.
Awesome. Awesome win. So Dana, what's changed in your mindset that has allowed you to now watch for and look for and approach with confidence your potential business partners?
You know, I've really been thinking about that. And I think it's where you get to that, where you're kind of to the end of your rope, so to speak. And you're like, okay, am I doing this or am I not doing this? Let's do this.
Yeah. And stop playing small, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't ask, how will they ever know?
Now, I'm just curious, were you and Greg having this conversation? She would be an ideal business partner.
Well, yeah, kind of, although more of that came after we had talked to her.
Yeah, you were both thinking it.
Yeah, we were both there, and he's really good at it too. So between the two of us kind of tag teamed, it was really good.
Very good. And you've got the gift of woo. That's one of your top 5.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to go back to see her soon. So I hope I get that opportunity.
That's awesome. And it gives you an excuse to travel, right?
And I love it.
That's so awesome. So I love that, let's stop playing small, right?
Mm-hmm.
And certainly in our training with Deb Erickson, she's been talking a lot about that. Now, what is holding you back and what's keeping you from really achieving all that you want to achieve? And so we do need to ask ourselves the questions. In fact, I'm hoping Wendy will join us. Is Wendy on here yet? I hope she'll join us. Wendy's had the same experience. She's recognized that she was playing small, and I hope she'll join us and share her story. But it's been really fun to say, Wendy, what's happening? What's going on in your team? And who have you talked to this week? And every day she's talking to people. Every day she's reaching out to people. Every day she's got new people coming to her, and it's because she's ready, right? And so there's this readiness that happens mentally and I would venture to say emotionally too, when we work through some of the things that are limiting beliefs that no longer serve us, and we need to move on. And so that certainly happened for me too. So I've been meeting with a couple that was building years ago on my team. And they just recently had a new baby. And a couple weeks ago, it's been at least a couple weeks, I reached out and messaged her and said, it's been a while, Cherish, let's catch up. And I've been thinking about you, and you've been on my mind. So anyway, she called me back, and she indicated that it was interesting that I had been thinking of her because she had also been thinking about me. And so when she called me back, I said, Cherish, how in the heck are you? And she said, did I share this story last week? I don't know if I did. I shared it with a couple people. But I said, how in the heck are you? And she said, I'm sitting here in my rocking chair holding my newborn baby. And it was really fun to connect with her again. She was one of my birthing clients years ago. And I knew she wanted it. Actually, she had seen in vision another baby. And didn't know how she was going to get that baby here. It kind of took her out of her comfort zone. And then she had a pregnancy loss that really was devastating. She was like, why would I see this baby in vision and then have it taken away from me right away? So at any rate, make a long story short, she conceived a few months later. And then she had just barely had this baby a few weeks ago when I connected with her again. And so she'd been thinking about me throughout her pregnancy. And I wish she would have called because she just had some challenges that we could have worked with. But at any rate, she wanted to be home with this baby. When she saw this baby coming to her in vision, then she also saw herself staying home. And she's been in corporate America for 20 years. And so it was really fun to connect with her. And so they wanted to look at the business opportunity again. Actually, I invited them. I said, Cherish, is doTERRA still an option? And she said, Debbie, you know how shy I am and how hard that was for me to do. I said, yes, Cherish, but there's never been a better time to do doTERRA than there is today. And I talked to her briefly about all the guides and the guides and helps that doTERRA has created over the last few years. And so when I visited with them last week, I took her one of each of those guides. And then we talked for a couple of hours, and then I rescheduled, and we met again yesterday. And I'm going to meet with them every week until I get them going. And they're really excited. They're really flourishing. So excitement breeds activity, right? And the why became very large for her. Her husband had been the stay-at-home dad all these years, and he had a very close relationship with our children that she was somewhat jealous of. And she wanted to have that with her children, and she wanted to repair those relationships with her older children that she felt like needed to be repaired because she was always a working mother. So it was kind of an interesting experience for her. And as I drove over there yesterday, I realized an interesting aha again for me. My ideal business partner has been a woman that's been in corporate America and wants to come home and take care of her children. And as I drove over there, I thought, this is so interesting because she's also my ideal avatar. And so I did share that with her yesterday, and she laughed. But she said they had been going through all the guides, and they went through, first of all, they did their strengths assessments and went through their top 5, each one of them, all those videos on Empowered You, that's on doTERRA.com. And then she started going through the Empowered Success. And she talked to me about what she had found and what she had gone over and how exciting it was that she says, we never had these before. And I said, no, we haven't. And so that was really exciting for her. So, a good win for me. And I've also been very bold in reaching out to people and saying, now it's time. I'm tired of getting, people sitting on the fence. And I've been reaching out and had a number of enrollments this week because I was like, done with this sitting on the fence. It's either now or not. Okay. And so that's not what I said, but that's what I created. And that was the intent and mindset that I went after to help them get started. And so that's really fun. And Ruth was one of those. Ruth's been buying from me for several years now. She's 85 years old this month, which is a good age, right? And she didn't like to give me her credit card information. She didn't want to set up a wholesale membership. But she can get the perks of the doTERRA wholesale membership much better than I can give them to her if she gets on a wellness lifestyle. So that's what we're working towards. So we'll see what she does as I deliver her Lifelong Vitality Pack to her today. And so I'm really excited for that. So, all right, who else wants to share? I want to hear from all of you. Hello, Chelsea. Welcome, welcome.
I can share. I don't know. Was Chelsea going to share?
No, go ahead, Elena.
Okay. Well, Joshua, we had a big staff's meeting for the opening of his clinic. He's going to open it in July. But so there was a PA and, office manager and all these people. And we were able to do a little, like, the oils are going to be a big part of the clinic. And so I was able to, with all the future staff, do a little breathing exercise with all the oils and encourage them to go on to aromatic-science.com and start learning, because it's going to be a big part of the clinic, and that was really exciting. And they and after we did the little breathing, I asked, how do you guys feel? And everyone said, better. I feel more relaxed. I feel calmer. So they were able to kind of make that mental note for themselves too, that there was a difference, that they had their first, maybe actually a couple of them had their first experience with the oil. But yeah, it was really exciting.
Awesome, Elena. That's awesome. And promising, as Dr. Jorgensen steps into the forefront of seriously changing what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So very cool. Very cool. Who else wants to share your wins for the week? What's working well? Or what needs to be working better in your businesses? What do you need help with? Go ahead and share that too.
All right, well, I'll go. Hopefully it'll work with the kids. This is, yeah? Okay, just 1 second, okay? So, well, I guess the good thing that happened this week is I had, I actually put in the enrollments for my 2 aunts, who I think I mentioned last week. I have been ordering for years, and just, and initially I never really wanted to step on toes. I had already been turned down, and fear kind of kept me from having that conversation with them. And and I just really just kind of talked, just had that conversation again, talked to them about the oils, and they just raved about how much they love them. And so anyhow, yeah, so I was able to enroll them, and I have a follow-up appointment with one of my aunts on, I think it's either Monday or Tuesday, and I'm still trying to nail down a time with my other aunt. But yeah, just going to have that opportunity to hopefully, just re-talk to them, kind of, since we didn't really get to have a needs conversation, but at least I can, kind of have, understand more of like what their needs are, help them with, understanding how the oils can help them in different ways, and, and help kind of, make some suggestions for things that they can, hi Archer, so make some suggestions for things that they can try, and hopefully help them. No yoga today, buddy. I'm on a call, okay? Just a minute. You can have my attention in just a couple minutes. You can have my attention in just a couple minutes. Sorry. This is my life. So yeah, so anyhow, so I'm excited to kind of be able to connect with them, and hopefully they can see, understand the benefits of their membership, and see how doTERRA can help them in other aspects of, things that in their life, with things that they're dealing with. So I'm excited about that. And also that opened up another conversation, because I placed them under my cousin who's in California, and both of my aunts are in Southern California. And my cousin, who is recently going through a divorce, and her situation has changed. She's actually been one of the only people who's actually enrolled people, but she's kind of struggled with the second step of that. She's enrolled people, but she really hasn't done the support part of it and the follow through with, getting people on LRP. And so she just really hasn't had much happen. And so I've really wanted to try to connect with her, and she's just had a lot going on her plate, but she did reach out and was like, hey, like, I really, if you can help me out with, placing people under me, I would really appreciate it. I really would like to start, making some money. And I was like, I'm certainly happy to do that. I want to have a conversation. with her, because I think that, she's a teacher, and I'm really hoping I can get her to come to convention. I actually was bold and asked her, because I've always just assumed, because she's a teacher, that first month of school is just usually like, I know my mom's, says it's really hard for teachers to leave when they're getting their classroom started. But I asked her, and she actually was like, oh, maybe I can make this work. And then, so I'm still trying to connect back with her. So I'm hoping maybe now is the time, and I'd really, really love to get her here for convention, because I think that would be a game changer for her. And just have her have the excitement of, helping her and helping her to understand how she can kind of get to the next level with doTERRA, and understanding the second part of that, which is not just about enrolling people. That's great, but if you really want to make an income with doTERRA, it's really about building that community and that support, which is obviously what I'm also, I realize that those are the things that I'm trying to work on. And I think that, as I continue to do those things, that I can be that example for others. Okay, go outside the back door. Yeah. So I'd say that's good stuff. Okay, go out here, buddy. I'd say my challenge this week was a little bit, I did run into some mindset stuff, but I was able to, you can go outside, buddy. Here, you can go outside. I'll open the door. These two keep me busy. So yeah, but my challenge was with my mindset, and that, so I have this yoga teacher who we started to do, okay, I'll help you put your boots on. How do you ask? Yes, please? Okay, there you go. There's your boots. You want to go out, open the door and go out? Okay, you're going to take your ball. Okay, why don't you go outside? You guys can go play. But anyhow, we had been, we'd started doing some classes together, and I really, really loved what we had started doing. And we had one class in December, which kind of was the first one that we did outside of like her home or my home. And we did it at somebody else's house. And there was only like the gal who was hosting and then one other person that showed up. And I don't know if that was what was kind of a downer for her, but whatever it was that happened, I've had a really hard time like reconnecting with her. And I know she's in a position, she's a single mom, she really needs to make money. And we were doing the classes so that, we were charging a cost to attend, and we were doing like a make and take, and then also kind of like a workshop where we'd have an hour of yoga, and we'd be integrating the oils into that. And then we'd have, some essential oil education and food and everything. And it was really fun. And, but I know that she really had the desire, she needed to make money whenever she was doing that, because she was providing her, her area of expertise. And so I don't know if there was, some kind of disconnect there or something that happened, but, and then she started dating somebody recently. And so I know she's been kind of like when I've tried to connect with her. So anyhow, yesterday I was at yoga, and she had these gals that came up to her. They were just like, oh, we love you. Like they were asking about like, do you do classes outside of this? I've got a group of friends, like about 10 girls. I would love to have you come and teach. She's like, what kind of things do you do? And she was talking, and my friend, she was telling her about the different things that she does, did not mention essential oils at all, and I don't know, I kind of was stepped out of my comfort zone, because I was right there, we're friends, and I was like, well, essential oils too. And she's like, oh yeah, essential oils. And so I kind of talked to her. Her boyfriend came and met with her afterwards, after the class was over. And, but I kind of feel like I wasn't necessarily like, I wasn't in my place of like the strongest point that I could be at. And I was a little bit hesitant of the fact that I did speak up, and wondering if it was the right choice, where I was, kind of doubting my, I don't know, like I started to have this whole like thing of thoughts, like, oh, she just, you know, I don't know, like my head really went like
Yeah.
south. Yes.
So let's look at that for just a minute.
Yeah.
Dia, do you believe that these oils should be in every home?
Yes.
So what's holding you back from sharing that conviction, that confidence?
Sometimes. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll help him with that in just a second. This is why I was wanting you to wait to go outside so I could finish my phone call. Okay. Okay. Oh, you stepped on something, buddy. I'm sorry.
Why don't you go take care of your children
Yeah.
for a minute, and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, honestly, this is part of what is a little bit of a challenge for me. Honestly, it's just, you know, it's my family. You know, it's a challenge, but yeah, I'll come back.
Very good. Okay. All right. Let's talk with somebody else who has had that same challenge and has recognized that this really does need to be in every home. Who's convicted with that? Who's confident with the fact that these products need to be in every home? That can help Dia overcome that. Gosh, did I say the right thing? Was I butting in? Was it I appropriate? I know somebody else has had that experience. Okay, so what can we do to raise our confidence level? How many of you are taking Deb Erickson's mindset training? What are some things you've learned in Deb Erickson's training that have helped you elevate your mindset so that you are confident as you talk to people or reach up the phone or as you're out in public and have interactions with complete strangers? What are you learning in Deb Erickson's training?
Hey, Debbie, that's one thing I would say is really focusing on your vision and where you're going helps me when I'm wanting to go into doubt. But as a quick like move into action, I like her finger roll technique, that I can, I will, and I will, I am now. Those help. And she's not the first person. Like, I first experienced that with Michael Burnoff when I did some of his training, and it worked. So I try to do that every time I go in to talk to somebody. Every phone call I make, every presentation, every class I teach, I do I can, I will, I am, yes, before I go in. So that might help her.
Yes, I enrolled a personal trainer this week that I've been working with, and we got interrupted a couple of times during that 25-minute period that I had with him. He would only allow me 25 minutes. And in my mind, I was still doing I can, I will, I am. Yes, I didn't make the snap because he was talking to people. But in my mind's eye, I was still doing that. I can, I will, I am. I can, I will, I am. I'm not leaving until I have the paperwork signed. Was my intent. It's like, no, this guy needs to offer a whole food-based supplement as he's working with people nutritionally, and he's working with people on a weight loss program or a muscle building program. They need these nutritionals. And so honestly, it was really fun to have him say, well, I need to try them first. So let me get started with this kit, and which he did. So I'm excited for him to have the personal experience. He was already touting the need for probiotics, but he was not recommending a whole food-based supplement. And so we'll see what happens with him. I'm sure he's going to feel much better on the Lifelong Vitality Pack and get through it. So yes, great finger roll, great neuro tools. I was listening to her I Am Enough in my meditation this morning, which was a really great reminder too, to remind ourselves that, you know what, we really do have what we need in order to go out there and make a difference in the world at large. All right, so anybody else want to share before I move on to a little bit of instruction this morning? Last chance to share your wins. Jen, I would love to hear what's happening in your world.
Hi. There's a lot. Actually, you were talking about a personal trainer. I also met with a personal trainer this week. And the minute she saw the supplement, she was like, oh no, supplements are not good. You can't just be taking any supplements. And she kind of gave me a lecture. And I said, well, let me tell you my story. So I talked to her about how I had blood work done, took the supplements, and then the doctor came back and said, what are you doing to lower your cholesterol this much? And she was just like, oh, wow. She just stopped in her tracks. So that was a really good experience. I had another class that only one person showed up. Sorry. And the person who showed up was, had been doing oils forever, had no need to really talk to me. She knew way more than I knew, so about confidence. This woman knew oils. She knew doTERRA. She knew everything about doTERRA. So I just said, okay, how can I switch this around so I'm not sitting at this table with this woman who is clearly way more educated than me? And I just said, okay, do you mind? I have a little handout to give you, but do you mind if I just pick your brain? And she said, no, go ahead. And I said, tell me your favorite classes. Tell me your worst class. Tell me what kept you motivated. Tell me. And she went in her purse and she got out her make and takes and she got out, and I got a load of information from her. So I didn't get a sign up. I didn't get an LRP order. I didn't get any of that. But I think in the long run, she may be my wealthiest contact because of what she gave me. And so, you know, I still feel like I'm in the infant stages and I just gathering. But I have all of our boys in this area are going on a big camp out this weekend. So Mother's Day weekend of all weekends, they're going to do camp out. And I'm having a big Mother's Day make and take for cracked heels and mental clarity and just really quick come in and we'll see how that goes. So I'm still learning. I don't have a whole lot, but I'm getting there.
Awesome. You know what? I was listening to a tape in my car, a CD in my car yesterday as I was out driving and going to my appointments. It was Tiffany Peterson. This is a funny story. I did a lot of training with Tiffany Peterson in the past, and I love her and adore her. But my son cleaned out the trunk of his car, including his CD holder. He has a holder in the trunk of his car. The CD player in his car is in the trunk for whatever reason. And he had a 6-drive CD holder. And in that drive were several of my CDs. I don't know how they ended up in his car. It's been years since I've driven that car. I have no idea how they ended up in his car. But a couple of the CDs he brought out were Tiffany Peterson's. And I was like, fabulous. I've been looking for these CDs. So I was listening to one of them in the car, and Tiffany reminded us that the universe pays us for what we do, not what we know. And I love that reminder. So you don't have to know everything to do this business. And so that's a really great reminder. And so I loved, Jen, how you turned that circumstance around and let her be the know-it-all and then teach you. And it totally took down her guard, right? And her defense.
Yeah, she wanted to know, she wanted to be part of my Facebook page, my Make and Take Facebook page. She was going to bring, you know, I'll bring friends in because she's, her up is family and it's far away. And she said, you really need the support. She could be my greatest contact. And
yes,
in my mind at first I was thinking this is the worst class ever in the face of doTERRA. And here it could have been the best, actually.
And she was the only one that showed up to your class, right?
When I had someone got in a car accident, someone was stuck at the hospital. It was awful. It was just, yeah.
Yeah. And I love that, how the universe works on our behalf. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I always love those, I call them God moments, when we recognize that God's in charge. And those who come are exactly who we need to be talking to at this moment. And imagine, Jen, if you had 8 people there and she began to use her negativity on all those 8 people and how it might have turned really for the bad. And so the fact that she was the only one there was really a gift to you and to her. And then you put her back in her zone of excellence. And then she's, liable to become one of your greatest contact spheres, contact referral bases. So that's awesome. Way to go. All right, very good. So you don't have to know everything before you do this business. And we want to keep it simple. And you know what? I'm going to bring up what I wanted to share today, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, is the fact that, with doTERRA's Natural Solutions handout, let me bring this up. We do keep it simple. And the job description of the Natural Solutions handout is to enroll prospects. That's what we do with this handout, all right? And I loved, as I've been working with Cherish and Tyler again, I loved how they recognize the simplicity of this business, and that, you know, what everything we need to say or do, if we're feeling unconfident, we just got to read it, because all of the fine print really says it all, and it keeps it simple and doable and duplicatable. So I love this. Now as we move into June, so in the month of May, remember that I'm going to be doing Wellness Wednesday classes from 7:30 to 8:30. And my focus in the month of May is essential oils in pregnancy, childbirth, and the newborn, and postpartum. This last week we talked about supplementation and the need for eating well and good supplements, and we talked about Lifelong Vitality Pack and a couple others. And so the rest of May we're going to do this on Wednesday. But we talked in our builder call last week about changing it up, and I'm going to be doing that so that I can start incorporating my husband a little more on his Wednesday night off to do classes with him. And so we're going to change our classes to Tuesday. And sorry, Ben, there's going to be some duplication on Tuesday. My Tuesdays are absolutely crazy. We're going to keep it to 7:30, and I'm going to run in while somebody else teaches sometimes. And so we're going to keep that really simple. And so I'll lay that out next week for sure. I'll lay that out for you as far as what week's what. But this is going to be one of our monthly classes where we're going to go through the Natural Solutions class. And as I do these classes on essential oils, it's very likely that each week that I'm going to have somebody there that's not familiar with essential oils yet, and it does not have a wholesale membership. And so I'm going to be going through the basics of this first page in each of those classes very briefly. And by the end of the month, I should have this down pat in about 3 to 5 minutes, right? Where I can go through what essential oils are, how we use them, why we would want to, and the doTERRA difference, okay? And so hopefully I can do that in 3 to 5 minutes each time and actually build interest. So that's my hope. So here's a really great idea of how your Natural Solutions class played out. Now, I did this with my personal trainer in 3 to 5 minutes. Now, understand, or not 3 to 5 minutes, but 25 minutes. And so I went through this handout really quickly with him and showed him the kit for him, which was the Healthy Habits kit to get him started, because I knew that he knew little about essential oils. He's never been open to them for sure, up until this point. He's been supported, but he's never really been open to them. And so I created a positive product experience on the spot. I set up my diffuser while we talked, because he's into burning candles in his office, and it kind of gives me a headache every time I go in. And so it's kind of interesting how he was open to let's play with these for a minute. But what I really wanted to hammer on him was these nutritionals, okay? When he's working with weight loss clients and nutrition plans, that he wants to incorporate a whole food-based nutrition system. So at any rate, but this is a really great outline of what a Natural Solutions class ought to look like. And so we do have to make those connections. And when we don't have 5 minutes to make them, as I did with Mike, then I made them, well, we already knew each other, so we didn't need to do connections. But we talked about the fact that he's got a new baby and what are some of his challenges in being a new father. So at any rate, state our intention. What is our intention? And I stated that for Mike really, really quickly. I said, Mike, in all the time I've worked with you, you do not market or recommend. It's never come up in our conversations, the need for supplementation. And so I came at it from a brief scientific background, a nutrition background, to say, you know what, you ought to be doing this. And he said, you know what, I've never wanted to sell that in my office. I said, that's why you refer them to me, and let's become referral buddies. And so just like Jen, we're going to become referral buddies. So this is a great outline, and everything you need to say is on that sheet until you get comfortable putting it in your own words. Okay. I'm so sorry. All right. So telling stories is a part of what we do as well. And I have, as I've been working with Greg, who's a new enrollment, Greg got this doTERRA Essentials book, and then he compared it with the Modern Essentials book, and he's been kind of reading both. And he's, you know, this doTERRA book is a really great introduction and really shows what the products do in a very compliant way. But sharing your stories, like Jen did, goes a little bit further in the convincing of the efficacy of what we're doing, right? And so in order to help people duplicate us, we want to show them how with a book and a box of oils, they can become a solutions provider. And so I really do love the follow-up that we have and creating one experience from the next experience. So I never leave an appointment without setting up the next interaction. Once in a while, you'll get people that aren't open to the next interaction. Greg's wife, Debbie, was not open to the next interaction. We've got it on the calendar, but she said 30 minutes and made it, so made it seem very short, which is fine. I'm really good to meet with whatever time we have. So, all right. So when we started classes, we set our intention. We want to tell them what we're going to do. I like to set this up before I make an appointment, and I like to set it up at the time of the appointment in my introduction. Okay. So what is an essential oil? Today we're going to talk about what essential oils are, how we use them, why we would want to. I always talk a little bit about the doTERRA difference and how we can get them in your home. Does that sound like a plan? And then I ask for a permission-based question. Does that sound like a plan? Would it be okay with you if we now talk about how to get them in your home? Okay, so each step of the process. Now, do you understand what an essential oil is? Okay, what are the 3 ways we use essential oils? What do you understand from what we've talked about that sets doTERRA apart from other essential oil companies? Because we do want to talk about the CPTG, the Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, and we do want to talk about doTERRA's purity and potency and consistent therapeutic benefit. And so that's the doTERRA difference, and that's what I want, and that's what I want them to have too. So I ask questions to get them to repeat this back to me very briefly, okay? And then as we go into, okay, what do you want to feel more of? What do you want to feel less of? That opens up this medicine cabinet, right? And I don't use the word medicine cabinet anymore, but what does this look like on this picture? It looks like we're replacing what they're using with natural solutions. At least that's what it looks like to me, maybe because I've been doing this a while. But I love to help them to set them up. And I have said to many people, in fact, I said to Greg's been buying oils like here and there, a bottle of lime, a bottle of frankincense, but has never purchased a kit. And as my husband and I sat down with him, Greg is my husband's voice teacher, as we sat down with him together, we basically said, it's time, Greg. Okay, it's time that you get these in your home. And he was looking for solutions, and so he was open. He was ready. Okay, he had already had positive project experiences along the way the last 3 years, and so he was ready. But as I take a look at this top shelf and the fact that, on this top shelf, this is everything we need to reach for on a day-to-day basis for just stuff that comes up. And I love having at my fingertips what I need when I need it. And so this top shelf talks about that. And so as I talked with him, I said, you know what, Greg, you've got this wound on your leg that we're working with. But this is but if I were to sell you just one oil, I would do you a disservice. And that's what we've done in the past. And so let's get what you need on hand. And it was delightful to do a follow-up Live Guide overview with him a few days later and go through and create a spray bottle for the wound on he's a diabetic, and he's got diabetic ulcers on his legs and has had for 15 to 20 years now. Are you ready to be done with that? Comes the question, how long have you been struggling with that, Greg? What have you done about it? What's worked? What hasn't worked? Are you ready to try something different? Are you ready to try a natural solution? And he was ready, and following up with him, I talked with him yesterday, 3 days after we made the spray bottle, and he's already noticing that the wounds are not weeping. That's a really great sign, right? That they're not weeping, and he feels like the skin at the edge of the wound is starting to grow and fill in. So we're making progress in just 3 days, and that's what we get with these products. The second shelf, I love to do that as a prevention, right? If we lower the toxins, well, the third shelf is the prevention. As we lower these are everyday products on the second shelf. As we lower the toxicity exposure that we have, we're going to feel better. And so that leads to a conversation of that. And then the bottom shelf is everyday wellness and taking steps to stay well all year long and getting into a prevention mindset. So that moves us up that pyramid of eating right, getting some exercise, managing our rest and stress, reducing toxic load, and self-care, right? So this lower shelf is our self-care. This is our what are we doing to keep ourselves well all year long? And so then as we talk about what they want to feel more of and what they want to feel less of, we're going to highlight certain products in the Natural Solutions Kit. Now, I venture to say you will not have time to highlight all of them. And if you do, you're going to be there over an hour. And if somebody says, I've got this amount of time, and when I make an appointment, I usually say my part will take about 30 minutes, pending questions. And and tell him what we're going to do. And that's when Deborah, his wife, held me to the pole and said, "You got 30 minutes on Saturday the 11th." Okay, and so that was kind of a funny interaction where she said, "You got 30 minutes." So at any rate, so we're going to go through and highlight, not through everything, but highlight what's going to help them. And then know that when we come back with the lifestyle overview, then we're going to really set up a daily wellness routine with what they ordered in order to help them experience wellness and work on their top health goals and concerns. Okay. I do highlight always the Lifelong Vitality Pack and talk about that. And now look at what this says down here at the bottom corner of this second page here. Okay. The doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack provides maximum nutrition for energy, focus, relief, and well-being. Does that kind of say what it does? Very simply, how long does it take us to say that? And then I'd like to talk about, okay, so you have 3 supplements in this kit. You've got the Microplex VMZ, which is your vitamin and mineral supplement, whole food-based vitamin and mineral supplement, really great bioavailability, so it's readily absorbed into the body. You've got your Alpha CRS, which is your antioxidant for cellular energy and cellular longevity and vitality. And then you've got your omega oil supplement with 9 essential oils in it, and then we talk about that and what those supplements do. So it supports the antioxidant and DNA protection, supports eye, brain, and nervous system, supports liver function and digestive health, provides more energy and and helps reduce discomfort. Honestly, I can be a testament of that. Promotes immune function, helps us manage our stress. We actually go through life a lot less stressed because we're getting the proper nutrition. It provides supports our cardiovascular health and provides for a healthy inflammatory response. And so in a nutshell, that's what we can say with this Lifelong Vitality Pack. And then we can take a look at the other supplements at the side of that, okay? As I worked with my neighbor, Ruth, she's been buying the probiotic. Now, she had an accident last year and has had been on loads and loads of potent antibiotics for months on end. And her gut is really a mess right now. She's not tolerating much of anything. And she already has a history of ulcerative colitis. So that's already problematic. And now we just basically killed off all her, any good gut flora that she might have had. And she's not tolerating much food. And so when I asked her, she said to me the other day, she said, I woke up at 1 o'clock this morning just starving. And I said, "Ruth, what did you eat?" And she goes, white rice. She said, white rice. It's funny how brown rice came out. She said, white rice. And then she said, with a little bit of milk and sugar on it. And part of that issue is, first of all, I would like to say that we can move her away from the little bit of milk and sugar, but she's doing well on it. Okay? And she's tolerating that, but she's not tolerating eating proteins and meat of any kind. And so we're working on it. And so she's been on these probiotics for like 3 months. And she started with 1 a day and felt like she needed more. We bumped it up to 3 a day, which is what I really recommended she be on after her history of antibiotic use for months. And she's starting to feel a lot better. And when I knocked on her door the other day, she came with her walker and was fully dressed. That's the first time I have seen her fully dressed since last August. She had her accident in July, and that's the first time I've ever seen Ruth dressed since last August. And I said, "Ruth, you look like you're feeling better." And she said, "I am." And this is after 3 months on the probiotics, okay? And so then it was a really great conversation to see, "Ruth, you need some more nutritionals. We need to work on building your health so you're strong enough and we can get into that gut flora." So at any rate, it was a really great interaction, okay? Now, as we take a look at, what did I do here? As we take a look at this, honing in on what they want to feel more of and less of, I find that when people are really quiet, I can kind of pick their brain. Because if we take a look at the 10 most common health concerns that people have from the Healthy Can Be Simple guide that we talked about last week in our meeting, then we know that we can guide them a little bit. A lot of people struggle with digestive issues. Would that be your problem too? A lot of people struggle with sleep issues. Would that be your problem too? You can change up the verbiage a little bit, right? And talk about the 10 most. It's beautiful spring. How are you enjoying the spring weather? Do you tolerate the blossoms and the flowering trees well? You know, you can bring up all kinds of stuff to see what they're struggling with and help them fill in their, I call it a wish list, okay? What would you like to feel better, more of, and what would you like to feel less of, right? And so then we can highlight specific products. Okay, so I want to ask you, how many of you are feeling comfortable using this Natural Solutions handout one-on-one with a person, or in a group setting for like a class? How many of you are feeling, is everybody feeling comfortable? Is there anybody, let me rephrase that, is there anybody not feeling comfortable in using this guide? Everybody feeling comfortable using this? I think this makes it really simple. And then the next question is going to be, would it be okay if I helped you, if I showed you how to get these in your home? And then we can talk about the kit options. Right here at the top, upper left, we have, you can buy these products wholesale or you can buy these products retail. With a wholesale membership, you save 25% off of the retail value. So it's like a Costco membership. And I find that in the United States, at least, that's a really great comparison. And I ask, do you have a wholesale membership with any other company or with any other store? Sometimes that's not the ideal question if they've got lots of wholesale memberships, but it usually brings up a really good option to talk about a Costco membership versus a doTERRA membership and the savings. And so I asked even Greg, it's he and his wife, and he has two daughters still at home that are adult children. But I said, do you have a Costco membership, Greg? And he said, oh yeah. And I said, why do you shop at Costco? And he said, because you save money. And I said, that's the same thing with a doTERRA wholesale membership. Okay. And then every year, Greg, do you get your rebate from shopping at Costco? And he says, oh yeah. And I said, and every month you get your rebate from shopping at doTERRA. And that led us into a conversation later on in the conversation after I showed him the kit options to talk about the Loyalty Rewards program. And so as we talked about the different options and kits, Greg said, I'm on Social Security. And occasionally I make a little bit of money doing voice lessons. And we chuckled because my husband's one of his voice students, okay? He said, occasionally I make a little bit of money, extra money, doing voice lessons. And so he made it very clear that he needed to start with a smaller package in order to be able to afford it on Social Security. And doTERRA's got those options. I love doTERRA's enrollment kits because there's a kit for every budget. And it doesn't matter. All of them are awesome choices, right? And so we can make that. So we have the option of the little bottles in the Family Essentials kit or the big bottles in the Home Essentials kit. And I do talk about there's 3 times the amount of oils in this one versus this one for less than double the cost, okay? And he says, well, that's not in my budget, but this one I can do, okay? And I loved the frankness, and I loved the openness there. And so we started filling out the paperwork, and after we got the paperwork, then I said, okay, now remember how you get that rebate check from Costco. Let me talk about doTERRA's rebate check for just a moment. And I talked to him about the Loyalty Rewards order. Now, he was not ready to do that yet, but when I called him yesterday, I said, and Greg, when we meet again on the 11th, which is the appointment that his wife made, I said, feel free to invite some friends and neighbors over. I know you had some neighbors that could benefit from learning this. And his comment was, oh, Debbie, I'm making a list. And that was joyful, right? Oh, Debbie, I'm making a list of people we need to talk to, okay? Because he'd already had such a great experience. And so every interaction, you want to set an appointment for the next interaction and a to-do list, all right? A to-do list is really important, all right? So we've gone through this. All right, so as you're sharing any enrollment offers would be a great idea, okay? Now, I actually enrolled Greg in April. I enrolled Ruth in May, and guess what the promos are for May? How many of you know what the promos are for May? Yeah, pretty great promos, right? Pretty great promos, Jen, right? I love that if you enroll with a 100 PV enrollment order or more and set up a Loyalty Rewards order of 100 PV for June, guess what they said, watch your mail, and they're going to send you a Lifelong Vitality Pack in the mail. Now, I got to tell you, doTERRA's offered that before, but I've not seen it quite put like that. Watch your mail, and you're going to receive a Lifelong Vitality Pack in your mail. And so I don't know if they're going to ship out the Lifelong Vitality Pack or a certificate to get one free, but I assume they're going to ship it out. That's how I read that. Did anybody read it differently? Yeah, that's how I read it. And so how exciting is that? And so now that I've got Ruth on the Lifelong Vitality Pack and Mike, the personal trainer on the Lifelong Vitality Pack, my option is to go back and get them on the Loyalty Rewards program, right? So they can get that for free. Now, Ruth's totally set for that because she knows she's going to need these probiotics every month. And by ordering the Lifelong Vitality Pack, how much does she pay for the probiotics now instead of $34.50? And I was giving it to her for my cost, which maybe I shouldn't have done, but I did that. And so she was paying $34.50 per bottle from me. But on the loyalty rewards program, she can order the Lifeline Vitality Pack and get them for $20 each. And when I showed that to her, I said, Ruth, you can do this with the wholesale membership, but I can't give you that same offer. Okay. Because I'm using my own offer, right? When I order my Lifeline Vitality Pack, I'm adding my own supplements. So I couldn't give her the same offer that I was getting myself, and I just said I could, but I didn't, okay? And so I set her up with a wholesale membership so she could get them for $20 each. And she was totally ready to do that finally. And so now she gets one for free in a couple months when she sets up a loyalty rewards order for next month. And that's what we're doing, right? It's creating a wellness lifestyle, not just a one-time order. All right, so I hope this has been helpful to go through this Not Just Solutions guide briefly. I hope you're using it as a great tool. And honestly, until you feel very, very comfortable with it, just read it. All of the verbiage is there, and it will help guide you in future conversations to where just in case you don't have a handout with you, you can still have a conversation and go through the information in your mind or with them aloud by thinking back to what's on that first page. You can totally do that, okay? So you can have a conversation with anybody, anywhere, anytime about doTERRA and have what you need in order to do that. So, all right, I'm going to stick around for questions. That's all I have for you today, but I'm going to stick around for questions as long as you need me, as long as you have questions, and we'll go through this, all right? So open up your mutes and share comments, questions, concerns, any other shares that you want to share, okay? And I will turn off the recording for now.
Daughter was talking about when she does vending events that she never enrolls anybody necessarily, but it's all about making that contact with them, and then having a class or two already that you can invite them to. So you have a couple dates and you get that contact, and then if they, and then you have that sample so they have that experience. And a really good pickup line to you is, do you want a quick pickup? Or if you want to just sample them with, I know you're doing the Aroma Touch, but if you want to sample them with like peppermint or wild orange, because you're going to have people just walking by, and you got to have like a quick way to get their attention. And they might, yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great suggestions. Okay,
Oh, and I'm teaching a Copaiba class Sunday afternoon at Sam's house. We're kind of just squeezing it in because we have a bunch of people that can't come during the week. So I'm doing like Dr. Hill condensed.
Very good. Very good for leadership. Awesome, Dana.
So.
Very cool. And that's a really fun discussion, honestly.
Do any of you have that recording for the 1 hour at the San Diego that Dr. Hill did?
I do.
Can you send that to me? I tried to get it, but somebody keeps sending me the wrong one accidentally. But I'd love to have that.
Did I send it to you before, Elena, and it was the wrong one?
I don't think so. You know what happened? I gave it to somebody and then I deleted it accidentally myself. So now I don't have it. But no. No, you didn't. I don't think you've tried to send that one to me. But that would be super awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, see if that comes through, Elena. I just sent it.
Thank you. You emailed it, or?
I emailed it.
Okay. And then did I miss it, or did we have a discussion about what we're doing for June for the?
I will solidify that as far as each week. I've got it mapped out, but I just want to talk it over with Tay first. Okay. So 1 week we will be doing a lifestyle overview. You've got your oils. Now what? And so if they cannot get to a one-on-one with you right away, they can come to my class. And it's not going to be just be me. You can do the lifestyle overview week, right? Or somebody else can teach the lifestyle overview, and I'll come in since Tuesdays are my crazy days. We'll work to get there at 7:30. But I am in the car from 2 to 7 on Thursdays until I have another driver, which we're working on. Okay. And so at any rate, so 7:30 will be our class time, and it'll be wellness classes instead of Wellness Wednesday. It'll be wellness classes on 7:30 p.m. Tuesday night. And we'll do a lifestyle overview class. We'll do a natural solutions class. We will do a Q&A where they can just come and we can brainstorm suggestions for their specific concerns and health goals. And then there'll be a specialty class each month. And then on the months when there's 5 weeks, I want your ideas on that. Okay, I've thrown around some ideas. I've thrown around the Empowered Life series. I've thrown around just doing another specialty class. I've thrown around just doing another Q&A. I've thrown around doing a recorded class. So at any rate, I want your feedback on if there's 5 weeks in the month, what would you like to see happen? Okay.
Did you say you're doing it on Thursdays?
Tuesdays.
Oh, Tuesday. Okay, at 7:30. Okay, great.
When I teach hypnobirthing, I'm teaching on Thursday nights right now. And I was teaching Wednesday nights, but I made the Wednesday wellness class, and that got more and more problematic to teach hypnobirthing on Wednesday nights. So, and my husband came to me and said, for those of you who didn't hear this conversation, and said, Debbie, we need to have a day, a night a week where we can go out and do this together. And Wednesday night's my only option. So you need to change up your Wednesday classes. That's how that conversation came about. Okay. So, all right. Any other questions, comments? Can you help me with anything else? And we'll call it an end for today. Thanks for all you do, everyone. I really, really appreciate your efforts to change the world one drop at a time, one person at a time. And I know you're all working hard, and it's invigorating, isn't it? I love, love, love sharing this. And so it's invigorating. So have a fantastic day, everybody. And again, I'll stick around for just a little bit more. Hey, go ahead.
I have somebody, I mean, I've given her my 2 cents already, but she has like severe some brain damage that affects her colon. So you guys can get off the line if it's too much information for you guys. But anyway, she hasn't had a bowel movement. Like, she's maybe like once a month. It's very, very terrible. Doctors don't know what to do. Anyway, but I had her start by taking 2 Digestens and taking 1 every hour. But then she doesn't want to pay for them. Anyway, but she has Digest-Zen, so she's been using that. Any other ideas? I mean, I've done a colonic with her, but part of it is she's, anyway, any other major successes that you've had with someone who has that severe bowel issues?
When you say I use Terrazyme, are you using an
Oh,
answer?
Terrazyme. You'd use Terrazyme for her, rather?
Terrazyme.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see that being good.
Did you say she had major brain damage?
She's had some, brain damage, and nobody knows exactly, but I think all these symptoms are related to her.
If we can, I don't know if you can have a conversation, depending on the brain damage. I don't know if you can have a conversation on some of her life's experience and give a little more history.
Oh, there's some traumatic events. She has PTSD. She's been shot at. She fell and hit her head recently. Anyway, so
when you take a look at these books, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay and Feeling Stirred Alive. Feeling Stirred Alive by Carol Truman.
You Can Heal Your Life. Yeah, I have that book.
If you take a look at these books, look at the emotion behind the constipation.
Yeah.
If you can have a conversation like that with her, okay?
Yeah, I think I can.
More information. The emotion behind it is holding on, right? Constipation, refusing to release old ideas, stuck in the past, sometimes stinginess, okay? And so you have to kind of ask a few more questions to help her get unstuck, okay? I remember going to a class years ago, and this lady had the same history. She didn't have brain damage necessarily, but she had severe constipation where she wasn't going very often. And I put a drop of Digestin on her tongue, and she excused herself during the class time.
Oh, you put it on the tongue? Okay, because I didn't do that. I just had her take the Digestin and then massage her, with some digestion on her stomach. But anyway, okay, that's good.
Option, but consider the internal use of it as well.
Hey, I have a quick question. What about Copaiba?
Copaiba is a great option for digestive support as well.
And
Oh,
if it's nerve damage and digestive, I would think that it would work together. I've been trying to get my dad to take it. He has autoimmune disease on his vagus nerve, and so he has I don't know what you'd even call it. It doesn't move. His stomach doesn't move anything.
yeah. It's gastroparesis. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it's called. And the autoimmune disease is way too long to say, but my mom said, I think he's taking it. He won't ever tell me anything, but,
Yeah.
So, because I was trying to come up with something that was like a 1-2 punch, like if I could pick one thing that would help with that. And so that's what I came down to. But on the emotion side, I think Copaiba is the one, the oil of unveiling. And so it may help her to see like some of her blocks.
Okay. That's a good idea. Right now I'm like limited by the once she moves a little forward, maybe she'll buy it. I mean, part of it is like you can even tell from the mentality I'm describing. I can't get her to do what it takes, right? But I'm having her do 2 drops of frankincense under her tongue in the morning and some breathing exercises. And I think the Copaiba is someone's trying to convince her to buy CBD oil, and I'm like, you're not going to you're going to have to pay way more for a supplement to get the right dose to get an effect. So I discourage her from doing that. I thank you for bringing that up, the Copaiba and the because I'm just reading. Because I gave her a breathing exercise. I'm just reading in Louise Hay's book. It says the affirmation, right? I can give her that affirmation.
And you know what? I love the affirmations, and Louise Hayes gives some nice suggestions. And if it doesn't gel with them, then help them write their own. Okay?
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
they'll incorporate the affirmations in their day-to-day routine, you know, and changing your mindset and getting over the limiting. As I release the past, the fresh and vital enter. I allow life to flow through me. You know, so anytime somebody's struggling with constipation, they're holding on, okay, to past garbage, so to speak. And we've got to let it go.
Yeah, she was at the point where she's like, I'm like this, you know, I think she would try it, but since it's free.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Well, super. Thank you for sharing that, Elena and Dana, for your comments.
Thank you.
All right, we will see you next week at the same time and place. And have a fabulous week and create some wins. Okay?
Thank you.
Create. All right, love you guys. Bye-bye.